Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Raza and today I will present my topic exchange management. In this video we are going to introduce you to two primary tools for working with your exchange organization. The first is the Exchange Management Console or EMC and second Exchange Management Shell or EMS. So starting with Exchange Management Shell. Let's go back to our slide and learn a little bit more about Exchange Management Shell. The Exchange Management Shell is built upon PowerShell. Now of those of you who know that PowerShell is your first thought might be, oh no, what are they doing to me here? I do not want to manage my exchange from a command line. Well, the goal going forward for those of you who know that PowerShell is to put you at easy to help you to appreciate that the Exchange Management Console is always there for you to work with Canto. 99.9% of what you need in the Exchange Management Console. However, if you really want to learn exchange management at highest level, you are going to have to learn little bit about PowerShell. What is PowerShell? Those of you who do not already have an impression, your question, what is PowerShell? PowerShell is both a command line tool and an automatic scripting platform. Now if you have done some reading about PowerShell, much of press has reported misconceptions about the purpose of PowerShell. It is not a replacement of command. What are CMDlets? While command let follow a simple verb noun structure, some of common verbs noun structure, some of common verbs are things like get, set, remove, test, enable, disable, install, uninstall, new and move. So as we move forward here and you see some of the demonstrations, you are going to see this. Verb come up pretty often and then second half of the structure is noun. For example, service well, that is a command. So how to run Exchange Management Shell EMS in PowerShell? Let's take a look of couple of ways that you can use Exchange Management Shell. In scripting environment, we shall beyond just working interactively in shell, actually composing real-world robust scripts. We shall use scripting editor and make sure that we can get Exchange environment loaded as well. When you install Exchange server, you get the Exchange tools installed along with which gives you to Exchange Management Shell. But what a lot of us do when we are managing Exchange server is actually install those tools locally on our desktop. For example, the Windows 7 machine, you can see that I have got the Exchange Management Console. Step 1. Hopefully this is the familiar to you, but I can also go into all program under Exchange 2010. You can see that I have the Exchange Management Shell shortcut. So in step 2, so this is the basically just customized version of your typical PowerShell.exe. So what will happen here is my environment. When I fire up the instance of Exchange Management Shell, we are actually going to go in Active Directory and trying to locate an Exchange server in current Active Directory sites that I am sitting in. Sometimes the first run will take a little of time. You can see that it hung there, but what is doing right now? It is connecting exchange.uss.local so that a server that remote to where I am sitting. Once that come up, I can think like run get mailbox. In step 4, now if we look at typical PowerShell, blue PowerShell console, you are probably used to that located under accessories window PowerShell. In step 5, this is just a PowerShell exe, and when you run you do not actually get the exchange tools even though you might have the install locally. So here if try to run get mailbox, I am going to get an error there because we have not really told this instance of PowerShell that we want the exchange tool loaded. In number 6, when you run the shortcut, let's take a look at that. We'll go into program and go into properties of Exchange Management Shell. In number 7, you can see that we are really calling as target as the shortcut. We are calling PowerShell.exe. In 8 step, if you look further down target, we are actually importing this PS1 script that gets installed with tools. In step 9, so this script has bunch of variable and shell specific functions and things like that of those being connect exchange server. So number 10, and it actually gets exchange command loaded and connected to a server automatically in your environment. Now one of nice things about exchange is that we have ability to remote connections. We are actually going that right now with this. You can see up here in step 11 the configuration name is going to be configuration name Microsoft.exchange. In step 12, in this case you need to manually specify the server you want to connect to. In my environment, that exchange.uss.local/PowerShell. Step 13, I am actually already logged into Windows with a user that has permission to run the exchange command. So you can see that there I have created that variable and I do not get any error back. In step 14, so now I should be able to import that variable, import PS session, and in step 15 that will go out and pull those commands from the exchange server. Now that's loaded, I can go ahead and run get mailbox, and this time that should run without any error. So it's important for you to know the 4 primary interface element of the console. Now the console tree, your navigation center. From here you can work through the various nodes that are part of the console tree. For example, there's the organization configuration node, that server configure the node, recipient configuration, and then there is a toolbox. Now we are going to take a look at the movement, but all that is grouped under the console tree. Next we have to result pane, which provides additional objects that are connected to nodes. Exchange server, which is NY or EX2K10 Let's see how all of this really comes into play when we are working with real exchange management console. So here on New York Exchange server, which is installed in previous lesson, and we are looking at exchange management console. So here we see the console tree. You can see these various nodes like organization, configuration, server configuration, recipient configuration, and all toolbox. And again you can see how this result pane changes here, as well as action pane depending on what we have selecting but certain circumstances. For example, when we select mailbox under server configuration, or if we select box under configurations, you can see that we have a result pane here, and we have our work pane here is additional depending on which we have selected the action pane charges. 5 server roles. Now you might be wondering what will happen to the edge transport server. If you recall, the edge transport server cannot recite same system as server roles, as it down out the DMLs on the perimeter network. Now does not change the tools that you use to manage as edge transport server. You will still have exchange management console. Exchange management shell, however, will the console instead of seeing all of these servers roles, server configurations, mailbox. So what we do here is something that relates especially be a server. So when you have multiple exchange server and you want to make change to one specific server, that will be logically handled. So here you can see mailbox setting under organization configuration node, include a ton of different setting and tabs: database management, database availability groups, starting policies. And so as we click through these, you can see that exchange management console is a very easy way to work when it comes to finding that you need. So you select any one of these that you can use action pane over here on the right, in order to find various wizards that you can use through the exchange management console. Now action pane takes some getting used, its time pass. If we wanted to know that we do not always right click, if we could tell right click, it should us here to action pane exactly. So what can we do here? It's also shown as from the mailbox part of the organization configuration node. So what we can do at all the time as well, if we right click mailbox itself, notice that options are related directly to these options here. But if you are not comfortable with the action pane and you do not want to become comfortable with it, that completely up to you. Can actually turn it off right here by selecting show hide action pane, and you notice that now you have a little bit more real estate from on your desktop. For managing exchange environment, personally I like to leave it on, although I have to admit I do find myself from time to time right clicking in order to find my options, but that's just an older habit that taking while to die there. Now items of console tree, use click show hide console tree as well, although for the life off. I have no idea why you would want to that. I always leave my console tray on so that I can see exactly what I am working with. So again, if we go from mailbox to client access, you can see in this case we do not have too much here. We configure, we have Outlook, web app, mailbox, policies, exchange server, exchange active sync, mailbox policy. Under the transport you have send connected remote domains, accepted domains, edge subscriptions, and a variety of other options like. Thank you for watching my exchange management topic. Assalamu alaikum.